What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for PlayPicks.com, ready to talk about this Monday night football game between the Chiefs and the Rams. Man, this is the game we've all been waiting for here, so cannot wait to really break this down and hopefully win a bet tonight with you guys. While you're here, please hit that subscribe button down below. Give the little thumbs up. We're hashtag keeping Matt employed here, so trying to keep me employed. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on this channel so we can really take this thing to the next level. So you can do your part by just hitting that little subscribe button and giving us a thumbs up and everything like that. Really, really appreciate it. And also, while you're here, very, very interested to see how you think this game is going to go tonight. Let us know in the comments down below which side you're taking. If you're taking a side on the, if you're taking a total, which over the under on the total, you know, how you think this game might play out just overall. I mean, looking for your comments for sure. This is, Ben, I've seen this thing broken down 10 different ways from Sunday, so can't even imagine what everyone is thinking out there. But at least we're going to give you the goods here and hopefully helps you make your decision how you were leaning kind of anyway whenever you're going into watching this thing, because I'm sure you were wanting to bet the Chiefs or wanting to bet the Rams, and maybe something we say along the way here will help you with all of that. All right. So, game moved from Mexico City, as you know, due to the field conditions down there. It's going to be moved to LA. Going to be playing this thing there in 65 degrees and basically perfect weather. So, nothing to worry about there. Of course, one of the big things was that, you know, when you play Mexico City, the elevation there is even higher than it is in Colorado. So, that was one of the big things about moving that game down there. But now they're back in LA again. Going to be perfect weather. Nothing to worry about there when it comes down to everything. The Chiefs 9-1, 5-0 at home, 4-1 on the road. That one game they dropped by 3 points to the Patriots at Foxborough. Nothing to hang your head about there. Of course, Chiefs are sitting atop the AFC West, coming off a win over the Cardinals. And that win, if you watched it, it was all right. Workman-like win, I guess. But I mean, kind of hard to get up for that Cardinals game anyway, right? The way that Cardinals team is playing, kind of hard for them to get up for that one. So I'm not really going to hold it against them there. The Rams 9-1, 5-0 at home, 4-1 on the road. Their one loss coming in the Superdome to the Saints. If you saw that game, you know, one of the other premier games of the season so far. Easily going to win the NFC West here after beating the Seahawks last week. There's really no way in the world they'd have to go on one of the most epic collapses ever to not win the NFC West. So, I mean, that division is definitely theirs already for the taking here. So we'll take a look here. Of course, Nate, as always, if you go to playpicks.com, breaks down the article, breaks down the game in his well-written article here, just, you know, top to bottom. So be sure and take advantage of that if you want to see all the stuff that we're talking about here and whatnot. But if you see, there's it's kind of been bouncing back and forth here, right? We've got 3s, 3.5s, and then 63, 63.5s. Even at FanDuel, all the way down to 62.5 on this total here. One of the things, and he writes about this here, you know, 63.5, if it were to close kind of like at that number, at that 63.5, 63 number, it would be the highest total in history. And, you know, rightfully so, right? Whenever we look at these two teams and what they've done so far this year, and more importantly, what the defenses have done so far this year, you can understand why the total is definitely where it's at here. As far as how we're looking at the various books kind of all smushed together here, 76% of bets and 75% of the money is on the Chiefs at 3 in the hook. So, you know, at DraftKings, you can still get 3 in the hook. At FanDuel, you can still get 3 in the hook. Already moved to 3 here at 888 and over at BetStars. 60% of the money and 60% of the bets and 61% of the money is on the over at 63.5 so far. So even with that astronomical total, people still looking to take the over in this thing. There's a couple of like cool bets if you want to bet at BetStars. Of course, you can click right here. There's $500 up to $500 in free bets at BetStars. They're running like some star stacks, which is one of the new type bets that they're offering out there. So like Gurley, Cooks, and Woods all to score touchdowns plus 400. Hunt, Hill, and Kelsey to all score touchdowns plus 425. So if you think one of these teams goes ham, if you think the Chiefs just go absolutely ham and Hunt, Hill, and Kelsey all get into the end zone, you can get plus 425 over there at BetStars. So just, you know, these books are trying all these different things to get you to bet at their place. So pretty interesting, and I'm glad they're doing it. On the injury side of things, of course, the big thing here for the injury side, guys, of course, is the loss of Cooper Kupp for this Rams team. He is out for the season with an ACL injury, and that is big for this team because they use him so much in the red zone. One of the very first looks every time for Jared Goff once they get in the red zone there. On the Chiefs side of the ball, Sammy Watkins, not practicing, listed as questionable. That said, if you kind of want to read the tea leaves here, the Chiefs activated a wide receiver off of the practice squad. So it leads you to believe that maybe Sammy Watkins is not going to be going in this thing. So as he mentioned right here, Cooper Kupp going to be out there. As you kind of break down here in the article, it just starts talking about a bunch of the different statistics and stuff to go along with all these offenses and whatnot. And again, there's a lot to talk about here. On the offensive side of the ball, the Chiefs, they're 4th in total yards per game. They're 6th in red zone touchdown percentage. Pretty much split down the middle is how often they run and pass, but they've just been so successful at both doing that comparatively to the rest of the league, how often they run and pass. Pass for tons of yards, though, so far this year. 4th in the league in total passing yards while being really efficient as well along the way. So that's the other thing is both of these teams are just so efficient on the offensive side of the ball. They're 2nd in the league in pass yards per attempt. So when Mahomes puts it in the air, even though he's not doing it at an absurd rate, he's not doing it crazy often compared to the rest of the league. He's doing it very, very efficiently when he does do it. On the Rams side of the ball, they are 2nd in total yards per game. They are 18th in red zone touchdown percentage. And the only reason I bring that up, that this might be something here, is, again, we just mentioned that loss of Cooper Kupp. And, again, he was the guy that they were looking to in the red zone. So they were already kind of middle of the pack when it came to touchdown percentage anyway. And now they lost their main dude that they look to in the red zone there in Cooper Kupp. They really want to run the ball, this Rams offense. So, I mean, with Gurley, why wouldn't you want to run the ball a ton? But they run at the 6th highest percentage comparatively to the people in the league right now. But when they pass, look, they still have success when they do pass here. We've seen several games of 300 yards from Jared Goff so far this year. They're 20th in the league in pass attempts. However, again, same deals we were just talking about with this Chiefs team, just very, very efficient when they do it. 1st in the league in pass yards per attempt and 5th overall in pass yards. So despite the fact that they don't throw a ton of passes when they do, one, they're very efficient and they're getting a lot of yardage when they do it. If we're worrying about pace in this one, I mean, it's Chiefs are 19th in pace and Rams are 16th in pace. So kind of middle of the pack there anyway. But both these teams have so many splash plays, right? When you've got guys like Tyreek Hill and you've got guys like Brandon Cooks and Todd Gurley and Kareem Hunt. So pace, while they might not run offenses, very fast, they still can score really quickly, right? So they might let the play clock run down a little bit, but they can take it to the house. I mean, we've seen these 75-yard scores from these teams. It seems like on the regular. On the defensive side of the ball, this is again very similar. Just on the polar opposite side, we have two offenses that are extremely explosive, that are doing amazing things whenever you watch them on that side of the ball, and then on the defensive side, they're doing amazing things, but in the bad way here. So on the Chiefs, 25th overall DVOA in defense, 22nd as graded by Pro Football Focus here, 30th in yards per game allowed, 32nd in Pro Football Focus's run defensive grade. So that is the Chiefs' defensive side of the ball. On the Rams, 20th overall DVOA, 32nd in rush yards allowed per attempt, 23rd in rush yards allowed per game. Both defenses middle of the pack when it comes to pass defense, but on the lower side of the middle of the pack. They're not like at 14th, 13th, or 14th. They're more in like the 18th, 19th type range when it comes to most of the passing statistics. So again, not like they're really tearing it up there either. Pretty mediocre defenses we've got with both of these guys right here. So you look at it, it's kind of crazy too when you look at like everything that they've got there on the Rams side of the ball. You would think that they would play better. Just hasn't been the case so far. And of course on the Chiefs side of the ball, really you can just chalk this up a lot to injuries. I mean, just so injured on that side of the ball. Just now starting to get healthy. Eric Berry's still not back yet. When he gets back in there, obviously that's going to be a huge thing for them on that side of the ball as well. So again, this Chiefs defense, you would like to think, can only get drastically better as we move closer to the playoffs and beyond. All right, so let's talk about the picks here in this one. We already talked about this historic total. We'll talk about that in just a second, but let's break this down. I mean, this line opened at Rams -2.5 when this thing was in Mexico. It moves to Rams in LA, and then the line goes to 3.5. And, I understand that typically you get 2 or 3 points whenever you move home. That being said, I mean, the home field advantage in LA is basically nil. I mean, we've seen this the stadiums are just packed there in LA with fans of other teams. I expect this Chiefs team to travel well to this game now that it is just a little bit down the road. It was kind of a last minute thing. Maybe you got some fans that got really excited because they're able to attend now. And then there'll just be Chiefs fans that are located in LA. I mean, LA is just, a huge city with fans of all kinds of teams over there. So, home field advantage, really, I don't really see it. And then on top of that, the Rams were actually practicing in Colorado as it is anyway. They were practicing up there to get used to the altitude. So they weren't in LA anyway. They're having to travel back home, if you will, to get ready for this game. So they weren't even just in the comforts of their own beds and things like that as it was anyway. So they were up in Colorado trying to get used to the altitude. So to me, I don't see this really as much of a home field advantage at all when it comes down to this. So again, the overall breakdown here, 2 high-powered offenses, 2 pretty bad defenses, especially 2 terrible rush defenses. So let's make the case here for this historically high, over-under that we're looking at here. We're talking at 63.5 at some of these places. So like the case for the over would be there have been 12 games close at 58 points or higher. They've gone over 9 times, and one of them was a push. So when 2 teams get together in games like this, the reason these totals are so high typically is because the offenses are so good and the defenses are so bad, and they hit. 9 times out of 12, it's hit with 1 push. So it's only lost 2 times in the history of totals that have closed at 58 points or higher. We've had a 58 or higher total 3 times in the last 2 years. All 3 have gone over. All 3 have gone over by double digits, by an average of double digits. And then also you just kind of look at this and like, where does the stops come from in this one? I mean, you tell me if you feel like there's going to be, something that I'm missing here. I just see, 2 really good offenses against 2 defenses that can be exploited not only on the ground but through the air, and both of these sides with huge playmakers at every level, really, on the offense, So I don't know. That's the case for the over. The case for the under could be this, and this is maybe the assumption of rational coaching. And while these are 2 of the better coaches in the NFL, we still sometimes scratch our heads at how these NFL coaches go. But if you want to make a case for the under here, we mentioned the Chiefs are absolutely terrible at run defense, and the Rams could decide to just pound Todd Gurley 28, 30 times into this defense, and 1, you're exploiting their biggest weakness, and 2, you're keeping the offense off the field, right? So the more time of possession you have and the more that you're running the ball, you're keeping that Chiefs team off the field. So that could be a case for that. And then on the flip side, on the Rams side, the Chiefs side, the same deal, right? I mean, we just mentioned that the Rams rush defense is absolutely pathetic as well. They have Kareem Hunt. I mean, they've got a guy that they like to use and a guy that's super, super talented. So maybe these coaches get together and while they were planning out the strategy for this game, they decided that they were going to try and keep the ball out of the other team's hands and play to their weaknesses on defense. And that would be rushing the ball, obviously. I mean, of course, they're not good at pass defense, but they are better at pass defense than they are at rush defense. So we're looking at 2 teams that give up 5.2 and 5.1 yards per carry. So, I mean, again, they are really, really bad at run defense here. So, again, that would be kind of like your case for the under there, if that's kind of the way that you're leaning. I believe it's too hard for these teams to just completely change who they are, and I don't think that they want to completely change who they are. And I lean to the over in this, even at this crazy high number here. When I first saw this game and I was kind of projecting things out, I mean, it was, you look at it, the number of possessions each team gets per game, about 12. Can both of these teams score 5 touchdowns on 12 possessions, on their 12 possessions? I mean, you're at 70 right there if that's the case. It just seems to me like this game could be a crazy shootout here. So I still even with this crazy high total, looking at the over in this one. Before we look at the side, a couple of player props here. Of course, you see this one already down here, like kind of at the bottom of the screen. This Tyreek Hill, 100 receiving yards plus a Chiefs win is plus 350 over there at FanDuel. If you want to take a look at that, I mean, again, likely scenario if the Chiefs win, Tyreek Hill has a big game. So kind of a correlated play when it comes to that. There's Todd Gurley receiving yards. Our friends over at Fantasy Labs have Todd Gurley projected for 43 receiving yards. I've seen the player prop as high as like 51 receiving yards for Todd Gurley. So maybe take a look at that one on the underside there. Josh Reynolds receiving yards. Of course, Cooper Kupp out, Josh Reynolds in. Josh Reynolds likely to play on the outside. Robert Woods likely to play on the inside. So really you only need kind of like one big reception. He's his receiving yards is 34.5. I've seen at most books, like 34 and a half in most places. And so with that, I mean, if he's on the outside, you just need him to, get downfield one time basically, and you can get the over in that one. So I kind of like the over at Josh Reynolds receiving yards at 34 and a half. On the sides here, I mean, look, here's the thing. I really just like the Chiefs getting the hook. I think this is going to be back and forth, score. And if you're able to get the hook, I mean, it seems like Nate likes this too down here with Chiefs in the Chiefs in the hook. I've seen it already move to 3 at several books. That said, I still lean to the Chiefs there, even at 3, but this thing being a field goal game just seems right, doesn't it? These teams go back and forth, and basically whoever ends up having the ball last kicks a field goal to win the game. Doesn't it almost seem like that's how this is going to play out? So getting the hook here with a team that I think could still win this outright. I keep going back to that Saints game against the Rams, and that Saints offense, which is probably like 1A, 1B with the Chiefs offense in the NFL, that Saints offense did whatever they wanted to against this Rams defense. And I can't imagine that the Chiefs aren't going to be able to do whatever they want to as well. Andy Reid, one of the better schemers when it comes to that in this entire league. And so I'm going to take the Chiefs with the hook tonight. Don't love it if you don't get the hook. So I would keep an eye out for that. Do a little shopping again as of this morning when we're taping this here. DraftKings and at FanDuel, you could still get the hook. So do a little shopping there. And if you like the other side, obviously, then you're going to want to head to BetStars or 888 where you don't have to play that hook. And who knows? I mean, by the time this thing kicks off, it seems like a lot of the money is coming in on the Chiefs side here. So you might be able to get this thing at 2.5. So if you like the Rams side of everything here. So I would hold out a little bit there. Seems like people want to bet this Chiefs team. Guys, thanks so much for watching the video. Again, while you're here, please hit that subscribe button down below. Really, really helps us out. If you want to take advantage of all the awesome offers we have, I mean, again, you can click all these links within the article. I mean, they're all clickable, and it takes you advantage of everything we've got. Head to dkpicks.com, just dkpicks.com. That's where you'll get the $25 for free at DraftKings Sportsbook. And then you can just head to playpicks.com/bonus, and it'll give you all the other bonus offers that we have. I mean, we have tons of awesome bonus offers. I mean, up to $500 in free bets, like we said, at BetStars. There's $10 absolutely free at 888. There's like a $500 free bet at FanDuel Sportsbook. So again, if you're over there on the East Coast, certainly something you should be taking advantage of here. But thanks a lot, guys. And again, down in the comments below, let us know where you're playing tonight, what you think, and how you think the thing's going to play out. Regardless, we are all going to win. It is super, super fun game. I can't wait to watch it. Good luck tonight, fellas. Hey, guys, thanks for checking out this video. While you're here, hit that subscribe button right down below. Make sure you never miss a video. When you get done doing that, please head to playpicks.com/bonus for the very best deposit bonus and free money offers on the internet.